Hi, my name's Kyle. Welcome to Paul Garage.
You gotta talk loud.
Yeah, I gotta talk loud?
You gotta talk loud. So what are we doing today, Kyle?
We're gonna drive this old bucket of bolts around and see what happens.
What have we accomplished?
Well, let's see. The rear end housing's changed. Got the rear end gears and the rear end housing's changed to different gear ratio.
Yep.
Got all the airbags hooked up, all the shocks hooked up, all the bushings changed. We put a big hole in.
Big hole.
We did the sleeper rail support.
Yep.
Got a whole interior put in, got carpet put in, got seats put in, got a whole bunch of dash valves changed, got electric wipers. I feel like there's a lot more.
Doors? The doors?
Yeah, we did the windows and the doors. Yeah. All new tires, new brakes, with auto slacks in the front.
About how long did that take you, Kyle?
Grill shroud, hood.
How long did that take you?
4 or 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks?
4 or 5 weeks.
The truck's been off the road how long?
21 years.
21 years.
21 years.
So we're gonna get ready to take it for a spin around the block, right?
That's right. See what breaks and we'll pull it back in and fix it.
Alright.
Now look. It's good. Got my road beer.
Road beer?
Drinking that gay beer.
Yep, that gay beer. Last time I went to the bar, some of my buddies were drinking that. I was just ripping on the whole night.
Stuck in low range.
Didn't they do that to you the other day? Or we're driving home?
Just switched right there.
Smell that?
Yeah, I do. What do you smell, Kenny?
Big world, a lot of smells.
It's true. It's a big world, a lot of smells. That came off the truck.
Huh?
That came off the truck.
What was it?
Something laying in the road. I'm gonna go get it.
Alright, now what are we doing?
We're gonna go put a couple $100 worth of fuel in the truck, I think.
Alright,
So
cool.
we'll grab more.
How'd the first trip go? Around the block.
Well, I was stuck in low range for a second, but it came out of it. So.
I heard you grinding them gears.
Well, yeah, I'm used to driving a 15 speed, which is like a 10 speed. And this is an 18 speed, which is kind of like a 9 speed. You don't gotta go back to this gear back over here. You know, you don't gotta drop down back in first or low. So.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, if I had a shifter extension on here, I'd have more leverage. It'd be easier, you know.
Yeah, that's why you can do that. Alright, well, let's go get fuel.
No. Want to? Don't know what.
I don't want to go get fuel. What? You gotta get fuel. You kinda gotta.
Makes me nervous.
Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing bad. Make sure you vacuum when we get back.
Why?
I need to do it for continuality of the video. Going on 20?
Nope. I am not.
nice day out.
Yeah.
Man, someone got a nice BMW sitting over there.
That is a nice BMW.
It really is, dude. And we really need to get air ride on this cab bunk, dude. This rigid mount shit sucks. I don't know why Dad couldn't do this in the last 20 years.
I think you know what the problem is. The RPMs aren't dropping fast enough.
Well, probably has something to do with the pump.
Or a line has a leak in it or something that's sucking air somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Speedco.
And unfortunately, we're at the Loves.
Yeah. Don't like Loves, huh?
Nope, not my favorite place to be.
Not your preferred truck stop.
Truck stop?
All good?
It's good to me.
You know what I noticed about the back of the truck?
Yeah,
Not enough lights.
I know. I tried telling you that before. We're gonna have 40-something lights to put on the truck, so whatever
What?
we get to it. Yeah,
What do you mean 40?
I have 40
Where?
boxes in my garage.
Yeah, but where are they
Oh,
going?
underneath the truck, there's 12 for each side for underglow, and then there's 16 for the back, and then there's some other ones.
See, I need a box truck like that one over there.
Oh, with the sleeper on it?
Yeah. Nah, man, I'm gonna get my cab over fucking ramp truck. Drive people's cars around, pick them up, move them.
Yeah.
Make all the money. Dude, that's big. It has to be good business, dude. Because, like, I'm always seeing people I know talk about the need of their cars taken somewhere. And have to, like, pay someone to do it.
I've only seen a couple posts, and normally when I say, yeah, I got a truck and a car trailer, I'll do it. How much do you want? I want this much. Well, that's too much. It's like, well, then why ask me, dude?
Right.
It's like, clearly you can't afford me.
Right.
Contrary to popular belief, you know, us truck drivers, we don't drive just because we enjoy it. We drive because we get paid good money.
Yeah.
I don't know, Leonard always likes to say, back in my day, we used to drive trucks, we didn't care how much we got paid. Which is like, man, I find that hard to believe. But, you know, whatever.
Dad made a lot of money back in the day. It's probably why he didn't care how much he made. He's making a lot. I don't care how much I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid $100 an hour. Yeah, I don't even care about the money. It's not about the money, man. I like being here. Yeah, dude, put the air dam on top of that cab over that came off the fucking the Peterbilt. What's the spoiler thing?
You mean the AC condenser?
No, the wing thing that went on the top.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the furthest I went in my Peterbilt before before we took it to Iowa.
Yeah, you're right.
Literally the exact same thing. I drove down to the house and back, and then I came back, went to Love's, filled it up with fuel. Crazy. Gotta move this fucking blinker. Brakes feel weird. God, this thing turns so much better.
Not bad.
Going from 322 inches down to 254.
Well, at least it has that going for it.
That's true.
You'll probably find yourself liking it just because, you know, it's shorter.
You know, I'm really gonna like if we put that N14 down in here. It's gonna run so much better.
I don't know. I like this engine. Mechanical, dude. I like mechanical diesels.
I wonder if everybody can see that only, you know, 3 gauges worth on the dash.
No, I don't. I got it right in the window.
No, that's good.
None of the gauges work though. The clock works.
Gotta have that clock, dude.
That cigarette lighter work?
I have no clue. I'm assuming it does. I mean, why wouldn't it?
I tried another one right next to it between them
I'm
gauges.
putting 3 up here.
I think that should hang it up there.
No, but it's gonna be GPS, radar detector, dash cam. So that'll be specifically phone charger.
Yeah.
So you can get phone chargers to have 2 things, put 2 ports in.
Yeah, that's true.
Mainly that way nothing's running on the fucking factory truck component, so nothing gets hot and pops or anything like that.
Yeah.
Then you lose half the lights in the truck. Well, then we'll back it back in the garage and pull the air cleaners out and get a new one of those and check something out because it's not running as good as it should.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does, but I literally. It's like I just hear a vortex sound over here. It's like, is it sucking that hard to the air cleaner? You know?
Might be.
Maybe that's why it's so smoky too, you know?
Yeah.
It smells like it's on fire.
Oh, it's just the paint burning off. I am tired of junk.
None of that's mine except that Peterbilt. That's it, guys.
Hey, don't talk bad about my junk.
Well, can we get rid of the moldy sandwich, Kenny?
Yeah. I don't know. I might eat that.
You never know.
My sandwich.
We lost. I didn't, but we
Yes, we lost some footage, yeah.
we lost some footage of the first trip in the truck and you know all that stuff. So I'm gonna tell you what I did in the truck for the first trip. So I got the truck over here to the garage, changed rear end housings. We changed some airlines. We did the brakes. We fixed the hood. We did the grill. We did new headlight buckets. Both of the steps on both sides were loose, so I drilled those out, put bigger bolts in. I put 2 cross members in because he only had 1 cross member. It was just the one holding the carrier bearing up between the rear end and the back of the tranny. That was it. So I put 2 cross members in there, so that way they're spaced like 4 foot apart, like they should be. The cross member below the 5th wheel, I drilled out and I put bigger bolts in there because you could just tell it was moving around just by looking at it. Then we sandblasted, we painted the frame, we had all new bushings in there. I did that before the truck got here. New airbags got on there, put some new airlines on it. We did the big hole to it, did electric wipers, did electric windows, some seats, some carpet. Nah, that's basically it.
Oh, the frame rail, or not the frame, the bunk rail replaced.
Yeah, we replaced the front sleeper rail on it.
But the whole truck basically got an overall, right?
Yeah, it just basically got like a good freshen up.
Yeah.
As I said, just a few weeks. 4 people over there on the cold start. Who needs fuel mileage? What am I, a Tesla?
So how many gauges worked on the first trip?
Oh, that was one of the big problems on the first trip. There was, out of 24 gauge pack in the truck, I had oil pressure. Water temp only worked half the time. It would get stuck at like 130 degrees and not move up or down. Like, I shut the truck off the first night and it just didn't move at all. It just stayed at 130 until I woke up and started to back up. So that was pretty sketchy, which that plays into the story a little bit later on here. And then the tach started out working, which was nice. And the amp gauge worked. So 4 gauges out of 24.
Right.
Not too bad, really, when you think about it.
Right.
The truck's 44 years old. What do you expect, right?
So, well, if I remember right, what was your biggest complaint that first trip? Lack of power, right?
Oh, lack of power. It was horrible. It was, especially when I realized that, holy crap, this thing actually does turn 3,000 RPMs. And it does.
Not till later. First trip, you had the old pump on.
It's turned 3,000 RPMs.
That was the old pump that
Yeah.
wouldn't get you to speed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was a dog. And everyone was like, oh, you're just too used to those newer electric motors and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, really, like, you gotta think, I was empty coming back and I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna have to get off the expressway. Like, I can barely pull the hill coming out of Cincinnati. And that's how bad it was. I've never dropped so many gears in my life as I did that first trip in that truck. That was a little rough.
Yeah, well, it wasn't until later we put another pump on it and solved that little issue, right?
That's right.
Right.
Put a
But that first trip out, dog.
first trip out, yeah. That was
What was your fuel mileage that first trip out?
3.8.
3.8, and that was with all the leaks and
That
everything.
was with all the leaks and just everything just living and whipping on her at 3,020 between 2,000 and 3,000 RPMs. Because
Right.
at first I didn't believe. I just thought the tack was wrong or cable was bad or something. And somebody's like, "Oh, it has a governor. Just hold it against the governor. It'll be fine." I'm like, "Yeah, it has a governor. I'll just hold it against the governor. Who cares? I just ain't running it hard enough because the tack was off." Well, that wasn't true, but it definitely didn't help any.
Right. So back to the first trip out. Like what was the feeling, man? Like I know, like I said, we had some footage and we lost it, and we did the first drive around the block and we did the drive around to get fuel. So you left. How was picking up? How was what were you feeling?
Well, I was pretty stressed out.
Oh, I
Mainly because the truck that I had before this one, I redid it in 2020, and everything was new on it. It had a 550 electronic motor in it, and I only spent like 30, 40 grand on that truck, like tops, and that's redoing literally everything on it. And this truck, I spent almost twice as much money, and I felt like I got half the amount of stuff done. So I was broke. I was down on my last $1,000, and it was either going to work or it wasn't. So I was pretty worried that it was going to blow up the first trip out. Didn't have a whole lot of confidence in it. I was very like, man, something stupid's going to happen. The drive shaft's going to fly out, because I also found that the last guy, he had the carrier bearing bolts hand tight in it, and all the transmission bolts were loose. So I was like, what else did I miss? What stupid little thing did I miss that I didn't take apart, but somebody else did? That's just gonna make this a catastrophic event.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely wasn't, in a good, easy going mood. This was a real, make it or break it moment. But for the first 35 miles, dude, everything was going pretty good. Didn't really have any issues. cruising right along, hopped on the Ohio Turnpike because I wasn't two-lane, and if I broke down, I at least wanted a shoulder to pull over onto. And then that April fucking rain started, and man, was it coming down. And I was turned on my electric wipers, I turned them on medium, and they were doing a great job, and then all of a sudden they started slowing down, and then they stopped. Just driving along. Windshield wiper on.
Not moving.
Oh fuck, all the power's unhooked. Shit, windshield wiper's not working. What am I gonna do? Driving down the road like this. Turn that one up a little bit higher. So we're talking about, like, I'm over by Toledo, in the middle lane, and it's downpour, like straight downpour, no windshield wipers. So I whip over to the side, get off there at T5 at the Fuel Mart, and I'm sitting in there and I'm messing with them, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I called Dirks, and they're like, well, you gotta check this, you gotta check this, you gotta do that. So I ran a 10 gauge ground wire to the batteries to the wiper motor, and that didn't help any. And so I eventually just switched the switch from the passenger side to the driver's side, and it was all good to go after that. I was a little nervous to use them full bore, so I just kept them on like medium, I kept them on intermittent. So
you got loaded.
Got loaded.
You're on your way to deliver.
And
what made you realize something was amiss?
Oh man, well, bobtail. It didn't run how I expected it to run, but it was also an old motor, so I was like, this is probably is what it is. It probably isn't that bad. It didn't feel like a rocket, but it wasn't that bad. So then I hooked the trailer, and weight of the trailer, 12,000 pounds. There's like 15,000 pounds of shit on the trailer. So for 27,000, you should just be able to get right up and go with it, right? And it was. I think it took me 1.5 miles or 2 miles to get up to 55 mile an hour. Fucking rocking, chewing on the steering wheel like fucking Timmy would be. Now he's fucking really standing on it. So I'm bitching about what a piece of shit truck this is. And it was like, oh, something's not right here. It was just, it blew so much smoke, which is like, oh, it's getting plenty of fuel, shouldn't have to worry about that. It's plenty of black smoke. And you could kind of hear the turbo work, the boost gauge didn't work, of course, but, So I was like, man, something's wrong. So I stopped, and the first thing I did was I changed the fuel filters like 10 minutes after I got on the interstate. So I'm like, well, maybe the filter's just clogged up. Maybe there's something in the tank, because the truck's sat around for 20 years, so who knows. Fuel filter was great, it looked brand new, the fuel was fine in it. That didn't help any. And I'm like, well, I know the fuel lines are brand new, so I know that's not the issue. So I checked the boot on my turbo for my crossover. That was fine. I didn't have a fuel pressure gauge at the time, so I didn't know what was going on there.
So you're struggle busing along.
Yep.
Considering getting off the expressway because you're just not going fast enough.
That's right.
So what made you realize you were getting hot if the gauge didn't work?
Well, I did my 9 stops. Okay, and I was coming back, and I was like, I just left Cincinnati, so I was probably around Dayton, and there's a Love's there at Dayton, right? And I noticed my gauge, I looked down, and I'm like, oh, 195, that's a little high.
The gauge that was stuck at 130.
Yeah, the gauge that was stuck at 130 was now reading 195.
Right.
So I got out, and I checked, and I shut the truck off, and I went inside, and I came back out, I pulled the cap off, full of antifreeze. All my belts are good, tension was good on everything. So I'm like, okay, gauge is a piece of junk. Like, why am I even worried about it? Like, let's go. So I hopped back on, and I was running along, and then my gauge, it came down, and then it went back up, and it came down, and it went back up, and I'm like, gauge is a piece of junk. And I was coming up to Route 6 off of 75, and I looked down, and I'm like, it's at 220. So I pulled over at that rest area real quick, and I got out, and I opened the hood again, and I started looking around, and that's when I noticed that the water pump belt was off. And that's when I noticed that I could take my hand and I could literally move the water pump pulley up and down. I'm like, oh, water pump went out. Okay. And then we had the video to pick up from there when I woke up that morning. All right, everybody. We're on our first trip here with Old Blue. We had to call it quits last night, unfortunately. We're at the, I think, 178 rest area, northbound on I-75. It made it about
800 miles into our first trip, 57 miles short though. Fortunately, the water pump gave up the goose. So, besides that, I mean, really only a few small issues. A few leaks here and there, you know. Nothing too serious. Fortunately, we're gonna have to have somebody come get the trailer to drop it off, and since surprisingly we're still holding water, we're gonna try to drive it back to the shop. It's about an hour drive.
So yeah, so all right, so what? So yeah, keep going. So what happened there? Like who'd you call? What happened? What was the plan, man?
Well, the first thing I did, I called the guy I bought the truck off of.
Right.
Dear old dad.
Dear old
I was
dad.
complaining about what a lemon he sold me.
Big old lemon.
And he's like, well, you know, call around, find a water pump tomorrow, and I'll go get one for you. And I'm like, can do, no problem. I can definitely do that. This was like 11 o'clock at night. I was up all day anyway, so I was tired, because I think I got like 6 of my stops off that day, so I was just done with it anyways, right? So I went to bed, I got up at like 7, I started calling. Nobody could get a water pump till like 4 days out. Nobody. Called Napa, called Kenworth, I called Freightliner, everybody. Nobody could get one. Well, I could get one, but I wasn't having somebody drive 6 hours away from the house just to drive another 8 hours to me. It just didn't make any sense. So at that point, I came up with a plan of, well, last night I was pulling the trailer, and it was warmer out then than it was today, and it was only, 195 was the average, so I'm like, I could probably make it back. I could probably just run this thing home, And I called a couple people and asked what they thought, and it had a manual engine fan on it, so it was just constantly moving air. And they're like, well, you might have already hurt the motor, so what does it matter, right? I'm like, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Like, does it really matter in the end? So that was the plan. Couldn't find a water pump, didn't worry about it. So I called my dad's buddy Mag, my buddy Mag, old maggot wagon, old magnesium. And I said, hey, dude, do you want to do me a favor? Come over here and take this trailer back for me so I can bobtail home. And he reluctantly said yes. And then lo and behold, his buddy of his had a water pump. So he went over there, he pulled it off a used motor, he brought me the water pump over. He bought me some buckets and, a few extra tools of his in case I didn't have any. And we ran it up to the truck stop because anybody who runs in Ohio knows that DOT like to just randomly stroll through the rest areas, and nobody likes to have that, especially when you're already having a bad week to begin with. So we ran her over to the fuel stop, and we spent like 3 hours swapping the water pump out.
Yeah, it was a long time. A lot of stuff I had to cut out because
a lot of stuff.
A lot of just empty air.
But it's one of those it is what it is moments, right?
All right. Got Majestic over here, Mag. He actually brought me a used water pump, so that's pretty cool. It gets hot with the trailer on, so he's gonna hook onto the trailer and he's gonna follow me to the truck stop because I really don't feel like doing it in a rest area, especially in Ohio with DOT. So we're just gonna run this up to the truck stop on the way back home, and that way hopefully we can get this water pump changed out. And at least then, if we break something or something doesn't go right or we snap a bolt off in the block, we're at a truck stop and not a rest area. I feel a lot better about that. Well, I'm gonna go out and help him get hooked up to the trailer, and we're gonna head on down to the fuel mart. All right, we got a used water pump, some used belts, some used idlers. Got him all hooked up and ready to go. I'm gonna go down to the truck stop, wash my water temp, and go from there. Well, got up to about 200, 205, so we're definitely going to have to be changing the water pump in the parking lot. That sounds like fun.
Because if we have to, I can pull my truck over here real quick before I leave and hook my air hose up and put my 3/4 gun on that and zip it. I mean,
yeah, you know, it's one of those you hate to do it moments, but if you can't get it loose, you can't get it loose. I would like to let it soak with some penetrating oil.
go in there and get some real quick. I'm gonna give you my toolbox because I won't need it. There's I got a lot of shit in there. For that either coil and all that fucking
Make sure you see some bags. Put a bag inside the bucket. Put your antifreeze in. Pull the radiator cap off. Well, those were none too tight. Thank you, Fuel Mart, for letting us park here.
Alright, I'm gonna go over to Dollar General.
10-4. I'm gonna take the fan hub off and
I think it'll be a little cheaper at Dollar General.
hey Mac, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, I'm glad to be at a truck stop instead of the rest area. DOT likes to do checks in the rest area, and I really don't feel like having to deal with them today. Make sure you leave a comment below about your worst DOT experience. Holy fuck. That's loose.
Good fucking deal.
Kenny was yelling at me because I haven't recorded anything yet. And he helps me out so much if I don't do it. You know what I mean?
I'm very far ahead, buddy.
Actually, I'm really surprised how much is coming right apart. Because all that shit came loose. My busted can already, man?
Man, she's a hottie over there. I'm telling you right now, she's a fucking hottie.
But yeah, I think really I just need some help lifting the fan hub out of there. That's probably gonna be the biggest thing to try to do without fucking anything up. I think I'll have enough tools between 3 bags, but I should know in about 10 minutes.
Here's I don't know what you think about it here. I got these.
Thank you.
I don't know what you think about this.
No, yeah, I just.
Figured if anything, that fucking cardboard will make a gasket, okay?
Yeah, trust me, I was thinking the same thing already.
I can spin it right out, ain't
I kind of couldn't believe it, Mac.
What?
That is fucking. That the fan didn't go through the radiator because all the bolts were loose and the fan itself. Oh fuck, I'm tightening it. Am I tightening it? Where's that going?
Yeah, I took that bolt right out of that. You shut the water off? You shut the water off over here? That way we ain't draining everything off here?
Yeah, turn it off. Oh.
It'll make a difference in that.
I think there's only one heater. I think there's just, this one right here is on too. I'll turn it off.
Hey, this is all this is all it had for bad with it?
Well, that's what I was saying to Leonard. It's like, if this was my first trip and this is the worst thing that happened and I didn't throw a rod through the block, I say I'm doing pretty good, you know?
I'm moving on to that guy's house in Bryan, or over there in Wasion.
Yeah.
Your dad's gonna clear me a room out. See how this goes until I get back over to Indiana.
Well, as long as you guys don't smack each other around too much, it probably won't go too bad.
We get along pretty good. He could use that $300 a month I give that other idiot.
You really could.
And one thing about your dad don't lie, man. He don't tell stories, he don't lie.
You know, out of all the people and all the stories he tells, he doesn't exaggerate that much, you know?
Well, they're true.
And that's the craziest part, is they're all actually true.
I met him 4 years ago is when I met your dad. 4 or 5 years ago. We become good friends after that. I can't get him, you know, there's things that, like that coil spring compressor. You guys will never use it.
That's what I told him. And I told him straight up, I do not want that. And he said, well, Kenny wants it. And I'm like, good, then Kenny can carry it inside. Then he came over the next day and got mad at me because I didn't carry it inside. It's like, hang on a second now. I told you from the get-go, I didn't want that. I was never gonna use it.
You go buy a brand new water pump. That one we brought you, there ain't a fucking thing wrong with it, man.
Oh, I'm not. Again, I didn't want one that Leonard had sitting in the back room uncovered for 20 years. You know what I mean?
That actually had a little antifreeze and I took it out.
Good.
So,
because after I went through
that truck's
3 power steering pumps, I wasn't too fond of his parts collection because he doesn't throw bad stuff away. He just saves it for a rainy day.
That truck's got a pump on it too.
Does it?
Yes, that motor has a pump on it. You ever think about lowering these steps down?
Yep. These boxes are pretty bad.
Are we on right now?
Huh?
Are we on right now?
Yeah, we're on right now. Once you record the whole process and make Kenny edit through it, because Kenny's a dick who doesn't understand what stress is and how much driving an old truck tires you out. Especially when you haven't worked in one for 5 months. And then you downshift more gears than you ever have in your fucking life on any other truck. All in 2 days.
I had old trucks. When I worked for Alco, they bought me brand new equipment.
Yeah.
Drive a brand new truck. We have further on down the fucking road. Wait.
Uh-huh.
Still a nice truck.
Oh no, it will be when I'm done.
Badass truck.
I mean, it's gonna have this. It's already a good start, but when I get done with it, you know what I mean? It'll be a whole lot nicer. A whole lot more driver friendly.
Well, one of the biggest things from you guys changing the water pump was when you got the fan hub off and you just pulled the pulley out of the water pump where it sheared off. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I was talking to some people. Nobody's seen that. Normally, like, the impeller on the inside comes off, which I knew that. Or normally the seal goes out and the bearing goes out and you lose all your water. And it was just weird that the pulley was, the shaft was just sheared like almost clean in half. So I don't know how that happened, but it did. So that was kind of interesting.
And I let out of it and was coasting. Snapped off.
Yeah.
It would have never.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have leaked.
The only thing that was keeping it on was apparently rubbing against the fan hub.
Wow.
Had to hang that on my wall.
How's that dampener? Is that dampener screwed?
So it must have seized up, and then the belt, it snapped through the belt. What? Doesn't sound healthy. I think Leonard gets a kick out of me having to change this in the truck stop.
No.
No?
No, because he's done a lot of shit on the road himself. No, he didn't want you to drive it home. He wanted you to change it out here.
No.
He didn't want you to cook the motor. You know, he was like, when I went out there, I said, let's just take this fucker off. He said, yeah, take this to him. He goes,
Don't change it if I have it.
He goes, yeah, he goes, if you take it, he'll put it on. And when he came off with the gasket, oh yeah.
I was hoping the gasket stays on the other piece over there. And even if it leaks, as long as we can slap it back together, we're in business, you know what I mean?
Well, I forgot to do that silicone. I got to find that silicone. working on it, eh? It worked?
Not hooked up. Wasn't high on my priority list. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna switch mine down to off and on with a dimmer switch.
Oh yeah?
My buddy done that. Yep.
Looks like it's on fire.
In my truck?
It does though, doesn't it? It's not my imagination.
Smell something burning. Yes, I do. $26,000 worth of insurance on that bitch. Get that trailer out from underneath it. I'm officially retired.
I don't think 26 grand ain't gonna go far enough, Mac.
What, me?
Yeah, 26 grand don't go very far.
I can stretch it out. Yeah, there's so much shit around here he forgets about stuff. I can go back to Dollar General and get a little sandpaper. You want to go over to the little emery cloth?
I don't really have that over there, do they? If not, get some green kitchen Scotch Brite. You know what I mean? The little scouring pad.
Yeah, you want to go get one?
I mean, it probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, Mac, and I would greatly appreciate it.
It's brought over there behind the counter.
That's why you want to go back over there,
She's
man.
fucking hot. And she thinks I'm just a fucking cat's ass for coming and helping my buddy's boy. Yes, Kenny.
You are, Mac.
Kenny, edit the part about me being a horny old bastard.
Leave that in there, Ken. It's a great thing about old truck drivers. When they bring you one thing, they normally bring you a shitload of something else. Some Dollar General Scotch Brite. Oh yeah, that's working good. Yeah. Hey, we can always blame it on Leonard. Well, I know, he didn't stop you, see? I'm just joking, I know. Which side you going to? I'm gonna go this side, you wanna go that side, help me hold to one side? I'd really appreciate that. Ugh. Here, you grab a hold of that tube right there.
Fucked up.
Yep. You know, Mac, you can't harp on the past, buddy.
Where's your pulley at?
Yeah, it should all be up top.
I think that's one of them Zerk holes, ain't it? In the end of that?
No clue, man. Probably is. It probably needs grease.
We do like a needle type deal?
Can't remember what.
Wash it in front of it or behind it?
Behind it.
Behind it?
I think. I'm almost 90% sure on that. It'd make more sense. Wait, hang on. Look at it lined up. If it was on the back side of it, it would shove it out too far. Look at that, guys. Mag likes being on camera. He must be used to doing all those pornos he did. He was in Magnum Force.
Over that jack off shot. Too tight?
I don't know. How tight are they supposed to be? Is this a Leonard question? I mean, I'm asking you because I straight up don't know, man. I mean, I'm assuming they're supposed to be fairly tight, right? That might even still be too tight.
What?
That might even still be too tight. What do you?
What size is this again?
7/8.
Here we go. Now, we fan hub it, eh?
Yep.
Watch out, I'll drop that bitch down.
I think that's it, yeah. I think we're the fan hub stage. Luckily, this one isn't too heavy. Then we gotta go up. Go on a fucking socket. What? Well, unfortunately, the camera died and I didn't notice it. But we got it back together. We got it running. It hasn't heated up. We don't have any leaks. So while my phone's charging, we're gonna swap trailers out, and I'm gonna go get this thing dropped off.
So the camera cut out before you guys got the pump changed. So after you got it changed, what became the plan? What did you end up doing?
Well, after it got changed, I said, well, I guess I'm taking this trailer back so I can get paid for this load, because, you know, who doesn't need money, right? So I reluctantly hooked back up to the trailer, and then drove and dropped the trailer back off, and drove the truck home. And after that, you know, I had all the same problems. I developed my blinkers didn't want to work for some reason, which I still don't know what caused that, because I didn't do anything and all of a sudden the problem went away, so that always makes you feel pretty good. But yeah, so besides, you know, the water pump, blinkers didn't work. My high beams were like really, really dim, so that kind of sucked. You know, just a good old fashioned, you know, good shake out of the truck.
All right, just got back. It's about 12:45 tonight from our first trip. A few things that went wrong. Well, the water pump, the wipers only work on intermediate, not even low on the driver's side. Tack quit. Driver's side fuel tank, passenger side fuel tank's leaking. Got a few leaks on the pump, on the fuel pump itself. Blinkers don't work unless I'm hooked to a trailer, so I just gotta add a incandescent bulb to take care of that. But, you know, all in all, not the worst trip in the truck I've ever had. So I always have that going for me, I guess. Why don't you guys leave a comment down below about your guys' best trip and your worst trip in the truck. And thanks. Subscribe, like the channel. Have a good one.
Good shakeout. So yeah, so I mean, how'd you rate it? Was it on a nerve-wracking scale of 1 to 10? You know, what would you give her?
A nerve-wracking if something was physically going to happen to me, about a 0.
like 1 being no, I'm not nervous.
A nerve-wracking of fuck, I'm going to have to go work for some other jackass to drive his piece of shit truck instead of my own, like 7.
Right.
7.
Well,
solid 7.
So you've had the truck for a little while longer now, and we'll have more videos on that soon. But are you happy with your purchase? You still think it's a lemon? Are you happy with it? Like, what's your biggest complaint? Tell the A model guys why you don't like A models, like, or do you like it? What do you think?
Well, it's 3 things.
Yeah.
And it's probably just because my Kenworth dealership and the Kenworth dealership surrounding me are a bunch of dipshits, but parts availability, people finding parts sucks. I came from 359. I rebuilt the whole thing. Kenny, you should put a picture of my glorious 359 up here in the corner. Where I could literally get any part for that truck I wanted. Everything. No matter what you wanted, you could get. This truck, you can't really find anything. And if it is, there's no website you can go to look at it or check it out. You gotta know somebody to call the guy to be able to get it. So that kind of sucks. It rides horrific. Horrific. It rides horrific. It beats you to death. And I don't like the layout of anything on the inside. Because when I'm sitting in there, and it's probably because I'm so tall, I can't see my speedometer or my tach or half my gauges because the steering wheel's in the way. And you gotta reach all the way over here to flip switches up, and it's not very convenient. That's about it. You know,
about it?
About basic plane.
Yeah, basic plane 78 miles.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we got some more content coming up on it. Without spoiling anything, is there anything you want to tell the guys watching to kind of like get them to come back and
made it a lot better. A lot better.
Truck's a lot better. A lot better.
Heater works now. Oh, that was another thing about the first trip. The heater didn't work. And the blower motor worked, but literally the heater would not work. It would start out warm for like 30 seconds, and even like after I changed the water pump, the heater still wouldn't work then. So it would start out blowing warm air for like 30 seconds, and all of a sudden it would just get really cold.
Oh yeah, everybody.
And then if you watch the AC video, you know why that was. It's because the jackass had a car heater core in it, and I'm assuming that was the issue. Maybe it worked back in the day, maybe it was plugged up, I'm not sure. All I know is at that particular point in time, it was not putting any heat on.
What you're saying is they should come back because the truck gets a lot better and they should see it.
The truck is a lot better, yeah. A lot better.
Cool. Well,
and big things to come for the truck, too.
Big
a lot of
things
ideas.
That's right, a lot of stuff. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this director's cut.
Extra commentary.
With extra commentary, director's cut, extended edition director's cut with commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Helps the channel.
It really does.
Until next time, Stall Garage.
There's a rod bearing, main bearing. As you can see, there's some pretty good gouges inside of it.